Have you ever felt like you were clinging to the very things that you want? The money, the love, the success. That feeling is really uncomfortable, isn't it? I know, I've been there. The thing about it is that very sense of I need, I want, is exactly why you haven't manifested yet. It's exactly why the prayers haven't been answered yet. Today, we're going to talk more about this and why detachment is the ultimate state of abundance. The thing about detachment is that it's not just ideal for your personal growth, for your spiritual growth. No, it is living life in a perpetual state of ease and magnetism. When you are detached, you can literally pull in from the spiritual, okay? It's like you will magnetize into this physical lived experience with so much ease and speed. You see, friend, attachment is sneaky. At first, you feel like you are doing all of the things. You are doing your affirmations, you are saying your prayers, you're meditating, you're doing all the things. However, that oftentimes keeps us focused on the outcome, right? And this is exactly what delays the realization of the manifestation. That perpetual state of I don't have yet, I still want, is the state of lack. This goes even further. And psychologists have actually studied this, right? This is where it gets interesting. People with anxious attachment styles will often chase, where people with avoidant attachment styles will actually distance themselves, right? However, both of these fundamentally come from a place of lack. So this says to us that the actual key to abundance is shifting your awareness, your consciousness from this limiting belief system. Now, let me share this with you. These are 5 steps that you are going to take in order to shift and create the exact lived experience that you desire. The first thing is awareness. You've got to actually pay attention to what exactly it is that you're clinging to, okay? Is it that money will always run out, or there's never enough? Is it that I always get broken up with in relationships? Is it that I just can't progress in my career? But you've got to identify the specific blockage. One of the areas where this is most predominant is actually in scripture. When you look at all of the miracles that Christ performed, it literally shifts from there isn't to there is. There isn't enough food to now there's plenty. Somebody is extremely ill, not even alive anymore, to they are in complete health and they're alive. Which means it is a shift of your awareness from the lack thereof to the existence of the very opposite, which means let go, right? You've got to be willing to shift your consciousness. Studies on neuroplasticity actually back this up. Our attachment patterns can actually be changed and reshaped, right? By simply choosing to let go of the current ones that are not serving us and cultivating deliberately and intentionally the new ones that you do wish to experience. The second thing, shift that energy, right? All these emotions of attachment, you've got to shift that internally in the form of self-love and self-worth. You've got to get something clear here. Detachment doesn't mean letting go of your desires. Detachment actually means shifting your state of being, right? The thoughts and the beliefs from a state of wanting and needing to a state of being, embodying. When you focus your energy, your time, your effort, your resources on self-love, self-appreciation, self-worth, what you are actually doing is aligning with the inner state of love. Okay? You are cultivating a deep rooted sense of love for yourself. Now, the effect of this is abundance, is that you will naturally, effortlessly magnetize experiences, people, and situations to yourself that reflect this very truth, this very internal truth. Remember, one of the first rules in scripture, rules, right, is first you love God and then you love yourself, right? But if you are of Him and He is of you, right? He created us in His image. To love yourself is to love God, right? Which means at any given point, your job is to make sure that you are pouring into yourself, cultivating yourself. And the thing about it is that it's actually a spiritual and a physical truth, right? It will benefit you on both planes. A really interesting study that I came across about this. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a cellular biologist, actually researched this, and he found that our beliefs quite literally influence our cells, right? So when you start cultivating the sense of self-love, self-worth, what you are doing is you are working on the mental, right? From a belief point. You are working on the emotional, right? But you are also working on it physiologically by way of cellular memory. When you do this consistently, right? This is why you become the magnet. You cannot stay the same, right? You will not cultivate abundance and stay in a state of lack. It's impossible. So when you do this and you cultivate this, you have to shift. The outside has to change. Third point, let's look into energy flow. This is now, of course, the divine flow, the natural flow of life. We know by now, right, that on this 3D plane, everything is made of energy, and energy flows where energy goes. What you want to do here is get into the present moment, but you want to stay in the present. This means any work that you're doing, any self-work, self-love work, do it in the present, because that is quite literally all there is, right? But what you do is, the more you do this, is the more you get into the divine flow, the natural flow of things, the natural order of things. Okay, this is where you move from a place of ease, right? If you remember, a lot of the times when Christ was performing miracles, right, he was either giving thanks just before it happened or just after, right? But he was constantly talking about peace, because peace is your natural state, but peace is only found in the present. This is in essence why we say that like attracts like. But if we take it a step further, it's more so that you are in a state of allowing, right? Because you're not clinging to anything, you are now more receptive. And this is why when you have prayed for something, when you are manifesting something, when it does come in, it will always be in a way that you never expected. You could have never even fathomed, right? Why? Because you were being present. You were not trying to control anything, and instead you allowed the divine flow of things to align everything for you. So it's always going to seem effortless, and it's always going to come in a way that is most natural for you. The fourth step, you are going to align with divine abundance. This means you are going to start embodying the inner state of love, peace, and abundance. Okay? What do I mean? Think about Christ's lived experience on this 3D plane, right? At no point do we ever read that he needed anything, right? But why is this? It's because he was always whole on the inside. So he held an internal state of being of complete wholeness. Now, how did this benefit him? This benefited him because anytime he did need something, it showed up, right? He embodied the state of abundance, love, and provision mentally, emotionally, and also naturally, of course, on a cellular level. And so what this teaches us is that this is what you want to do. this is the state you want to work yourself towards, right? Because in that case, anytime you do need something, then it shows up. How does this work? If I am perpetually whole, what happens is anytime I have a desire, all I need to do is acknowledge it. Oh, I'd like that car. Oh, I'd like that house. Oh, I'd like to get into that school, right? And then what do? Then I come back internally, right? I again cultivate this state of wholeness, of love, of abundance, of provision. What then happens? Because I'm now building myself up as the magnet, I will naturally magnetize the car, the house, the job, right? Because when I look at it, all I need to do is acknowledge it. Think about this. When God created the earth, right? It's written that in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. When He created the light, right? If you read and you take into account context, from context we can gather that if he needed the light, it was probably dark, right? But what happens? Then it says he said, let there be light, which means he was in the circumstance, he took account of the circumstance, then he shifted his awareness. Then he shifted to, okay, this is what I'd prefer. Let there be light. And so there was, right? And in order for things to happen with that kind of quickness for you, in order for your prayers to get answered that quickly, in order for your manifestations to show up that quickly, the only block is the disbelief, right? So this sense of detachment, this inner state of wholeness, of ease and love and abundance is what will bring in the things with that level of quickness. Another way to look at this is indifference. Indifference is powerful when you are waiting on something, when you've prayed for something. Indifference is powerful because it indicates internally that I don't need this thing to be whole. I'm already whole, I'm already happy, I'm already content, but I would like to receive it. This is something that works for me every time. Things will manifest so quickly because, again, you are not in a state of lack because you don't need. So what would keep it from you? There is no resistance. The last point here is become the magnet by remembering that you are the power source. You are the plug. We just spoke about this, how this sense of internal wholeness, of feeling satisfied, of even feeling indifferent makes you the magnet. How do you do this? You center yourself, which means in every circumstance, you place your sense of importance and value on you, never on the thing, right? Some people call this being on the pedestal, right? But in essence, you stay on the pedestal. It doesn't matter how important it is. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. You are forever on the pedestal. I'll tell you, when I learned the power of this, when I was still dating, okay, anytime that I went, in fact, every time I went on a date, this was my mindset. How lucky is he that he gets to hang out with me and spend some time? I am smart, I am cute, I take good care of myself, I am intelligent, I'm a great conversationalist. How lucky is he that he gets to spend a good hour with me? Okay? And then, of course, you get ready and you look good and you feel good, right? That's the energy that you go into the date with. I'm telling you, that person will ask for a second date while we are on the first date. Okay? This is part of how, and I'll make another video about this, but this is how I magnetized, right? Without even trying. How I magnetized 2 marriage proposals in 3 months from an old SP and then an entirely new person. Okay? Because when you approach things from that sense of indifference, for one, but you are completely satisfied and content and indifferent, but full of love and joy for yourself, when you are the center of everything, the spotlight is on you. Everything will come to you. There's actually another study. This is by Dr. Richard Wiseman, okay? a psychologist. So in his study, he actually proved that when you focus on being present while cultivating, say, abundance, while cultivating a sense of getting a stable relationship, getting a stable job, right? What happens is you will draw that abundance in. What happens is you will shift from that state of lack to having. Think about when Christ went and he woke Lazarus up. Remember, they came to Christ and they told him, right, that Lazarus is no more, right? Think about that instant moment between just when they arrived at the tomb, right? And Christ calls out to Lazarus and he says, rise. He says, come out. Think about that moment, the split second, and then the split second when Lazarus actually gets up and comes out. That is an instantaneous shift in your reality. So stay present, but cultivate whatever it is that you're intending to experience, and it has no choice but to come in. So if you're going to take anything at all from this video, it's this: shift your attention from the problem. Okay? Shift your awareness, the sense of value and appreciation, to yourself. Pour in as much love and affection and goodness as you can into yourself, okay? And then let go of how it comes back to you. It has no choice but to magnetize itself to you. I've done this with jobs. I've done this for relationships. I've done this manifesting cars. I've done this so many times. I am telling you, it works. You are supported by the divine, okay? You are not alone. It's like a trust fall. If you fall and you trust the divine to catch you, you will be caught and it will be amazing. Trust me, I'm talking from experience. If you'd like to dive deeper into this work and learn how to become magnetic to everything that you desire here and now, please take a look in the links at the bottom, and together we will realign your focus and your reality in line with the abundance and the love that you deserve. And of course, do not forget to like this video if it resonated, or drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and see you soon.